So what going back to the different levels that you've coached and like
Yep.
you've been to so many different levels and work. What is your absolute favorite? I know like most people will be like,
Ooh,
oh,
that's
because
tough.
I'm working at pro level now is my favorite. But what's your absolute favorite level to work with? High school kids, even recreational.
Yeah.
Because sometimes once you get to the pro ranks, you realize, I'm still having fun. It's my job, but it's not really the same. You know what
You're absolutely right. Like, and it's funny because I've taught I coach pro players
I mean?
and I coach my daughter who's 3.
Yeah,
So it's so funny to see the difference. But I think what do I enjoy the most? That's so hard. They're so different in all different regards. I love like of my college team, I love the competitiveness, I love the athleticism, I love the level of play.
yeah,
It's super exciting. I love that. But I got a different appreciation from when I coach a high school girls team, for example. They're like the emotion and the appreciation I get from them. It's like, they actually appreciate the hell that like what I'm doing.
yeah.
The men's team, they're like, yo, that's your job. Like, what do you mean? That's your
this
job. Like,
this
it
this
is what
guy
it is.
this guy's getting paid. He doesn't
Yeah,
care.
like it is what it
Yeah,
is. And then with my daughter, like I teach my daughter and a bunch of other 3 year olds. Like I was like, it's only 4 of them,
yeah,
and I love it because I love seeing the joy that they're getting for the game. Like they're learning the game from the ground up, where they're bumping balloons and doing all this fun stuff over net. I'm like that makes me so happy.
yeah,
So it's I can't I really don't have an answer to your question because it's so different and like there's so much different appreciation.
yeah.
And I find that I actually it's funny. I get more stressed out with my high school girls than I do with my men's team.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get stressed out on my men's team. Like I know we have a plan. We're gonna do what we got to do. But I know that at the end of it, they're gonna be fine. My girls' team, I know they're sweat, blood, and tears. Like they're doing it for themselves, for their coaches, for their parents, for their like they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe with the girls' game than it is with the guys' game.
Well,
But
I feel like too at at that level, the athletes have a little bit more to play for, right?
yeah,
Because they're growing up, whether it be rep, high school, whatever, and they might have that dream or the aspiration of playing at the next level. Whereas sometimes, like I played football at in collegiate, now I fight professionally. When you get to that level, you still have drive and determination, but it's almost like, okay, it's just my job.
yeah,
Right? It's just my job to play well. It's just my job to train. Whereas when you're coming up, it's more of a passion, right? And I find like when I show jujitsu to or MMA or anything to any other pros or any high level guys, I don't get as much enjoyment as it where I was teaching white belts, beginners. Like
hmm
fresh out, they have no idea or no they have no concept or want to professionally compete. They just want to learn.
yeah, yeah,
And to me, I find as a coach, I actually gain more out of coaching them. And as an athlete too, because when I have to retract back to the beginning stages of teaching, like fundamentals, like how to move your hips, how to, for our sport, how to frame, how to get up off the floor, how to reverse positions, how to sweep.
hmm
Those are things that at the highest level you take for granted that everybody knows.
yeah,
So you almost neglect teaching those fundamentals all the time and you
yeah.
almost forget them yourself. Whereas when you're going to the lower levels, you're like, well, you have to learn those things. Otherwise,
Right, right,
the
right.
sport is completely gone to you can't even compete or think. So I find there's almost a more enjoyment. I get more enjoyment out of teaching beginners because it forces me to go back to basics. You know what I mean?
That's actually a good point. I feel the same way when I coach young kids. I love
Yeah.
it because it
Yeah.
does force you to go back to the
Yeah.
basics.
Well, and for them it's fun too, because when you get to that collegiate level, let's be honest, some of the guys aren't having as much fun anymore. They're competing with each other.
Yeah.
They're competing with other people on the team, other girls on the team. They're competing for spots, and that's a whole nother